Lawwin Media Network.
Bringing to you the most relevant content across all platforms.
Business, legal, politics, health, lifestyle, and entertainment.
Your source for all the news and updates in the greater Houston community from Texas and all over the world.
Get informed and empowered with Lawwin Media Network.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is Nurse MJ, and I'm with Nurse Carmi. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Health and Wellness. And you are watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch.tv and Lawin. Right, Dr. Rich? How
That's
are you?
that's correct, MJ. And hello, everyone. Welcome. We're glad that you're joining us today in our podcast Beyond Health and Wellness. As you have seen, MJ is with our guest today, Nurse Carmi. So they're both nurses, and they're not around Houston. They're somewhere they're enjoying their lives, as everybody should. But today we're also going to supplement our fun for the day for in the Philippines. It's already weekend there. Hopefully they have a good time spending their All Souls Day, All Saints Day, Halloween in the United States. And so, but that's Halloween all over the world, right? And so we're going to talk about a lot of things because I know that you've been eating. Okay, you can't deny it. You can't hide from me. You've been eating as I am, and we're going to talk a lot about things that impact our health. There's MJ.
Yeah, so anyway, hello again. We are actually outside enjoying nature. You know, the show must go on. So whether or not we're in a computer or in our home, we have to move on with the show. That's why we made it happen. We are actually here outside Frostbank, right? Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas. You know, something big is happening here. That's why we're here. I don't know if y'all know 17, right? The K-pop group. And our girls are very crazy about them. They're like fans of 17. So as moms, we are here. We drove them here. We are waiting for them while they're enjoying inside. But of course, we have to be here in this podcast. So we had to make a way to make it happen. And Nurse Carmi is our very special guest for tonight. She has like years of experience as an emergency room nurse, and I really salute her. I mean, she's a great nurse. So, Nurse Carmi, can you share us your experience in the ER? Or
Hi, good evening. My name is Carmi again. MJ is a very good friend of mine, and our daughters are best friends as well. So, being a mom, I'm really a busy mom because just like MJ's daughter, my daughter also dances and sings, and we take them to places like this. So it's very important for me to be healthy and very active in life. So it took me a while to understand why I was so exhausted. Like I felt like I was chronically fatigued. I was very exhausted, and I'm talking about years. Being an ER nurse, I was in the ER for 20 years, and I just recently changed jobs into a lighter one, which is a central line insertions and stuff like that. But working in the ER for about 20 years, I really thought that my chronic fatigue and my exhaustion is just being part of me working in the emergency room, 12-hour shift. Sometimes I don't even have time to sit down. When I moved to this other area in nursing, the central line, and it's a very easy job. I noticed that I was still exhausted. So um, I took upon myself to go to a doctor, go to an endocrinologist, and they diagnosed me with Hashimoto's. So that's really where all my problems probably came from. So my antibodies for my thyroid were very high, um, and that's part of the reason why I was gaining so much weight. I had so much appetite. I wasn't losing any weight. I was exhausted. I was tired. I couldn't fulfill all of my daughter's activities. So lesson learned, like you really have to listen to
Listen.
your body.
Hmm.
Your
Mm.
body is telling you, you have to listen to it, and you have to take care of yourself. um, so after all that doctor's visit, they did a lot of tests, and they started me on medications that helped me lose weight. And to make the long story short, I am very energetic right now. It's just a matter of 2 months.
Yeah, and
um,
I hear that, or I've learned that in a matter of 2 months or 6 weeks, is that right?
yeah.
About 6 weeks, she had lost about 10 pounds, and that's my goal too. So now I'm trying to get close to her so she can teach me and coach me on how I can lose those extra 10 pounds. Because remember, Dr. Rich, in our previous episodes, we actually
Yeah.
about struggles of women, like
Yes.
menopausal women with weight. And we
Yes.
thought we thought too, like it's only menopause that's causing women to not lose weight. But with Nurse Carmi's case too, because we both, I think she's premenopausal too. So we were even thinking at some when we chat, like when we see each other, that's usually one of our topics is, oh my God, Tita, it's so hard to lose weight. And yeah, we've been telling each other, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that we've been struggling both, but we didn't know, and she didn't know. She wasn't aware that there was an underlying cause other
Yes.
than menopause or premenopause. So, as she said, it's really important for us to listen to our bodies, because if we don't take care of us, then who's going to take care of us, right? And
Yeah.
how are we going to take care of our patients? Nurses, people need us.
We're the only one who can take care of ourselves, actually. Um, the bottom line of that, the outsiders, caretakers, healthcare providers, they try to help, but ultimately we are the ones in control of our health.
Yes. So, Nurse Carmi, other than what you were given some medications, are there other ways that you have been trying to do to lose that weight that you've been struggling to
before I
release?
before
Yeah.
I was okay. So no,
Yeah.
yeah, I tried to not eat rice. But it's hard when you grow up eating rice.
Hmm.
Yes.
I feel like I'm lost, and I'm very foggy without rice a day. I at least go by a day without rice. So I started. I'm not a salad eater. Unfortunately, I didn't grow up eating salad, so uh, I tried healthy food, but my main meals were really like rice and meat and adobo and all that unhealthy stuff. And my appetite was really good, so I tried to limit my food, but there are just times that I can't control myself. I needed help. I needed help. I didn't want
Right,
to
right.
like down to zero. I just needed a little um, weight loss to give me a little more energy.
And we all do. We all need help at some point in our lives, especially in this journey with health. And we want to go beyond just taking care, just surviving with health. You want to have excellent health or even beyond that. And it's a lot of contributions. There's a lot of factors that contribute to our health, not just the food, but food is the main culprit, if you may, but there are other things. Now, walk us through how. So you went with your Hashimoto's. What did doctor prescribe to you something that really helped and worked for you? Did you have a previous medication and then he changed it, or you went right through a medication? And what was it?
So basically, for years I've been taking levothyroxine, 50 micrograms, because I was hypothyroid. I've been diagnosed with hypothyroid, but only when this doctor when I came to this doctor that he tested me for antibodies. So
Yeah.
finding the what kind of antibodies, but I forgot. But that was the indication that it was my hypothyroidism was caused by Hashimoto's. Because you can have a low thyroid caused by any reason. Mine was the Hashimoto's. So him telling me that that's my condition helped me um, helped me watch out what I'm eating. Because there are things that I have to avoid the trigger of inflammatory response due to Hashimoto's. So I don't know everything yet, but um, I have some in my head. Gosh, like nuts.
Oh, you can have nuts.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of restrictions as far as food is
Yes,
concerned.
it will trigger inflammation, and that's when I get so tired, and it's a lot of things that happens when the inflammation, you know, when the inflammation is triggered by whatever I eat. So it helps me being diagnosed with that, specifically Hashimoto's, not just being hypothyroid. Um,
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
and that's the good thing is when you know the problem, right? When we know the cause of whatever your the source of your fatigue and not losing weight.
mhm.
Now that we know the cause, then we can target the cause,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's important. It's with any kind of health problem, it's good to know what's causing it.
And
And
So
you
it
yeah.
is
know,
important that you mentioned that, MJ, because we're looking, all of us in healthcare, we're looking for the causes so we can address it, right? And sometimes the causes is just lurking around, and we didn't know that that was the cause because we're so used to it. It's the spirit of
mhm,
familiarity with us, right? We eat regular food. This is what we eat all of our life since we were young, and now that we're adult, we're eating the same thing. We don't we don't know if that's the culprit. We don't think that is the culprit, or we don't think that that's contributory to what we're going through. And then we finally realize, oh, it's all around us, and it's food, right? And so we started with talking about sugar. We're ingesting too much sugar in our body, right? We had
And
that.
sugar causes inflammatory response too.
oh
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but
And
we're ingesting too much of that, and then we says, "Oh, I need sugar," which we do. However, there's a lot of sources of sugar. The one that the amount we're ingesting is just too much, and so it increases that. What do you call that thing? The craving, right?
Yeah.
And then we started looking for, oh, this is zero sugar. This is artificial sugar. This is a sugar alternative or a sugar alcohol, and we
awareness.
take all of that, but the effect of all of those that are alternatives to sugar is you crave more of sugar, so you become more hungry. And then we go to the cycle of, oh, I'm hungry, I eat some more. And you have all these kinds of disease conditions in our body that needs to be addressed, and we want it to be addressed. However, around us that we don't know, that's the one that's causing it. So that's the first one. And then now I think that is very important. But tell us, Carmi, about, so, what are you taking to lose 10 pounds?
So this is one thing too. If you Because I was already diagnosed with hypothyroid, right? I already had an endocrinologist in the past. So one thing is also to look for a very good physician that will really sit down and listen to your problem, because I've been through these problems before,
Yeah,
but this doctor really checked the whole thing, and that's when he found out. So it takes a good doctor to really do something for you. So the other thing why I got started in this medication, the other thing is my A1C is 5.6, which is normal, which is a normal A1C. But what I realized was, he said, as Asian, 5.6 is pre-diabetic,
Yeah.
Asians and Mexicans, and I didn't know that. So that's the reason why I qualified for this medication, and they prescribed me the Wegovy. There was no questions asked. My insurance approved it. Not everyone gets approved, but I was approved because of my A1C and my BMI. So the Wegovy, it's you start out with a small dose, and then you go the next higher dose the next month. It already worked for me even at the lowest dose, not because I was just relying on the medication, but I was also helping myself. I really did reduce my intake of carbs. I tried to help myself, And also, I lost my cravings as well with that medication. So
Yeah, I definitely need that, but
So sorry to interrupt. But we have to skip right now. Forklift's coming to pick
yeah,
us up.
we'll go on a break. Yeah, we'll go on a break. So we'll be
we're
back
live. I'm
after a
sorry.
short break.
We'll be
Okay,
right
we'll be
back.
back.
All right.
Yes, we'll be right back.
In a world cluttered with information, where truth is power, Law and Weekly News stands apart.
We delve deeper, uncover facts, and bring stories to light. From political showdowns and economic triumphs to the pulse of the street and the heart of the community.
We capture the moments that define us, stories that challenge, inspire, and transform.
Tune in live Sundays 8 a.m. Central Standard Time and Sundays 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
We're back. This is Beyond Health and Wellness with Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ. We have our guest, Carmi, today as well. They are coming back. They're just trying to reposition, I believe, for the signal. And we'll continue to talk about Nurse Carmi, our guest's condition with Hashimoto's and hyper and hypothyroidism for that matter. So let's talk about what Carmi mentioned about her A1C. For those who are not aware of what an A1C is, A1C is your hemoglobin A1C, which is the blood test that is used primarily for monitoring your blood glucose or sugar levels in our body. And it goes way back to 2 to 3 months in the past. And then the normal for that will be lower than 5.7%. The higher level of that is going to be your pre-diabetes. But then for Asians, 5.6 is already pre-diabetes, I think, because of the regular sizes and genetic makeups of Asian um, mm, people for that concern. Here they are back. Did you guys reposition yourself, or you're trying to show us where the show is?
Yes, we are actually, because they had to take the bench that we were sitting on because they were not permanent. They were,
We thought it was part of the park.
yeah.
Okay.
Is our
All
life
right.
maybe?
So, well, I just tried to explain Carmi's A1C and what that means. And I said that that means the hemoglobin A1C is the monitor test for blood glucose or sugar level in our body. And the normal for that is 5.7%. And Carmi says at 5.6, it should be normal, but it's already pre-diabetes for Asians. So that's what I mentioned, just to clarify that one. And now let's go ahead and proceed, MJ.
Yeah. So, all right. So again, it's really important. We want to stress this out because other than now, Carmi has, or Nurse Carmi has lost about 10 pounds. Now the question is, how are you going to maintain it?
It's discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, because eventually I want to be off from this medication. I don't want to take it forever, right? It's not good for
Yes.
you to take forever. So it's really about determination as well. I mean, you can't just let the medication work for you and let it work for you forever. I just want to get down to 110, which is like 15 more pounds for me to go. I'm already feeling better right now. But if I get to 110 and maintain it, eat healthy, I just really have to focus on that. And I have to like give myself a little,
Push.
reminder
So,
and push.
so
And
now
push.
MJ is going to be calling you, texting you, and looking for you and wanting to see you all day long.
You know what? Wait. By the way, our listeners or viewers, we encourage you to give your comments, shout outs, or if you have any questions that that you want us to try to answer, feel free. We have a question here from May de Vera. But why is it pre-diabetic in Asian and Mexican?
Uh, I still have to research on that. I really didn't have a chance to ask the doctor, but I did uh, Google search some of it, and it is true. I just really haven't gotten the chance to really dig on it. I don't know if it's something about genes or height or whatever. I'm 4 foot nothing. I'm short too, so I really don't know. I'm not sure about it. That will be a question to the parking lot, and we will get back to you soon.
We'll talk about it. In reality, when you talk about Asians, and it's not trying to pinpoint a specific group of people, but mostly it is observed in Asians and Mexicans because of the nature of the food. And it's not just Asians and Mexicans. When you say Asians, it includes Filipinos, right? But there are other Asians also that are in the same
Oh yeah.
boat. And it is mostly because of the diet that we do and the kind of preparations that we go through to get that food into our table.
And one more
That
thing, it's kind of like what do you call this? Coronary artery disease. Because I know it's also true that Asians apparently has a smaller size. That the arteries are smaller, the
Yes,
diameter,
yes. It's the
right?
BMI. It's going to be, they will involve your BMI or your body mass index. But really, it is mostly about how we prepare our food, and it's quite difficult for us to prepare our food as Asians, for that matter, to prepare our food without oil. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Oh
It doesn't
yes.
taste good without oil.
It's just
Now,
difficult. You can go ahead and grill, but you want to put oil in your grill. You want to bake, you want to put some oil in baking. So now you're going to saute, right? You're going to fry, deep fry, saute, put oil everywhere, and don't remove the fats in the food because they're the ones that's causing it taste good. And so we're in that bracket, right? It's very difficult to prepare Asian cooking without involving oil.
oil.
And so
That's very
now that brings us to that discussion.
Yes, yes. Now it's time for oil change. I know, I remember Dr. Rich, this topic
Yes.
when you presented it to the Philippine Nurses Association, one of our education offerings, when you presented it,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an awakening. I mean, it's like, wow, I've been using this oil and I didn't realize that this oil is actually not healthy. So our viewers are going to learn about the healthy oils and the different choices that they can use for better
Yes. Yes.
preparation of their food. But we have, yeah, later we're going to read some
we,
other
we,
comments.
we
But
will continue to talk about that. We will connect with what Nurse Carmen's experience about losing that weight, taking that medication, and having a good doctor look the entire condition so that he can pinpoint and target it, and that's why it's working for Carmi, and it may work for every single one. Now, please remember to our viewers, this is not a diagnostic session. This is a session where we provide information as much as we can, so that when you make decisions for yourself, you have that informed decision making opportunity for you. Go find your healthcare provider, really discuss your condition with them, find professional help. This is not where it is. We are talking about experiences here and what works for some people, like Nurse Carmi and MJ, in fact, for example, as well. So now we're talking about that time for an oil change, and we talk about this, if you
yeah,
will,
we're
with the
talking about oil change, not our cars. Okay. Well, it might
cooking
be
oil.
time it might be time for oil change for your car too, because it's not just we take care of our body, we have to take care of our cars,
The
otherwise we're
whole
going to break
thing.
down.
The whole thing, right? So you want to provide the correct oil for your car, right? Synthetic oil, natural, whatever oil that one. There's different kinds of cars, engines, and different kinds of oil that works for them, and so is with our body. But the bottom line of all this that we're talking is there is no safe level of oil, and there is no good oil. All
Mm-hmm.
oils are not good for us. Okay, that will be the bottom line. The only reason why we talk about this is it's just difficult for us to cook without oil. So we're
Mm-hmm.
going to cook with oil. But what kind of oil, and what are these oils that are destroying us or helping in giving us disease conditions and giving us problems with our health, and how we can avoid this, because that is
Yeah,
really important.
Dr. Rich, before we
Yes.
move, before we go on to that, I just want to share an experience growing up. Because of how poor we were, we actually grew up like having oil as our ulam. I don't know if people can relate to that. Just salt and oil and
A
rice.
recycled oil.
Yeah, recycled oil. Where they, you know,
That's
in Batak, Ilocos Norte, we are famous for the lechon kawale. We call it chicharon, right? So the oil that they fry those
Mm.
chicharon or lechon kawale, they recycle those and they sell them. So I remember growing up, my mom always bought those oil because they're so good. I mean, just with salt and that oil. And now,
You're
after
still
50,
alive.
I'm still alive, but after 53 years, I'm now 53. And now I've realized, oh my gosh. So that wasn't the healthy way of, right? So we're going
yes,
to
yes,
learn a lot from this topic tonight because
yes. We
my,
will talk about this. But first of all, let's acknowledge our viewers. MJ, there are chats there that we can see. I
yes, we
think.
have some comments from our viewers. From C. Subel, she says, "Hi po, watching from Pangasinan. Thank you so much, C." And then also, she has a comment here. Pag diabetic po ba, ano po yung mga foods na hindi pwedeng kainin at pwedeng kainin? Thank you po. We'll answer that. And then, good morning po, watching from Pangasinan from Joan Esteriha. Wow, maraming salamat to our
We have a lot
viewers.
of viewers from Pangasinan.
Yes. So what do you think, Dr. Rich? Ano yung mga foods na pwedeng kainin? You know, sabi nila, you can, I mean, for healthy food, you can eat all different kinds of food,
In
but
moderation.
in moderation and eat in the correct amount. Because
It is the
we need
portion
yes, the
portion of the food.
portions. Yes,
Right,
because we
because
need
you are
carb
really looking for the calories, the
balance.
amount of calories, the amount of calories, or the number of
Mm-hmm.
calories that you consume each day should at
Mm-hmm.
least match with the amount of calories that you
That
use
we
every
burn.
day. Yes.
Yes.
Anything
So,
in
so then,
excess, that's not good. That's all.
Yes,
well,
and
here's the
balance.
thing, MJ. Whether you're doing something or you're just lying in bed all day long, you are consuming calories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's without doing anything. Now when you're doing something, so the more you are consuming calories, right, you're using calories, so you need
Yes.
that calories replaced. So you can do that, but that's why there is a level of calories. What it does, we'll probably need a session about how much calories to what kind of, how much weight, or well, we'll do that. But the thing is, it's a portion of the food that you ingest, that you eat. Ingest is such a harsh word. Eat and enjoy, because we enjoy such food, right?
Yes.
Especially if it is with sinigang, tinola and adobo and all that. We lost track of how much is the calories. I don't care about the calories. I'm just gonna eat because I like it. And you only have one life to live, and you live at the moment. You have all these kinds of things, so why not? And you're happy, you might as well die happy if you're going to die anyway, right? Not a bad thing to think. However, if you're really concerned about your health, you want to monitor the portion. So it's the portion.
Yes.
The other part of
Yes.
that is, if you're diabetic, the other part is this, what we call as the diabetic diet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually just like low in sugar. The sugar that you have is the natural sugar that's available in your fruit and vegetables and all of that. But in the food that we eat, there's just a lot of sugar. Plus, when you go to the ingredients in the food that you have, there is added sugar. That alone, if you remove the food that has added sugar, you'll be so good there. There's already
Yes.
sugar, and then there's added sugar. Go for just sugar, no added sugar, before you remove the entire sugar. Because you're really going to remove the sugar. That's the goal. Because all the food that you will eat that don't have sugar will turn into sugar anyway.
Yes. So
Right?
I think, see, for that question, yeah, that's a small step that you can start with.
Yeah.
Yes. But we will continue with our discussion after another short break. So we'll be
We
back.
will.
In a world filled with fleeting moments, there's beauty waiting to be captured. My name is Christian, and I specialize in immortalizing your most precious memories, from elegant weddings to vibrant events and timeless portraits. I'm here to make every moment unforgettable. Let me tell your story through the lens. Contact me today and let's create magic together.
Are you ready for engaging conversations on education, teaching strategies, trends in the classroom?
Tune in to Teacher Talk, Live Chikahan, with your hosts, Teacher Cora and Dr. Claire.
In each episode, we'll dive into meaningful discussions, share insights, and connect with fellow educators.
Don't miss out on the fun and camaraderie. Grab your coffee and join us for some lively Chikahan. Every Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Philippine.
Hi,
We are back. This is Beyond Health and Wellness with Dr. Rich and Nurse MJ with our guest Nurse Carmi today. So let's talk about this oil that we're saying, MJ. So now I think the slide is going to be published very soon. We are going to talk about there's if we're going to talk about diabetes, Hashimoto's, hyperthyroidism, every single one of those diseases, including cancer, are all caused by nutrition. 90 to 99% of disease conditions are caused by nutrition or lack of it. So we are going, and then the remaining how many percent disease conditions are caused by genetics. And genetics is also expressed with what we call as epigenetics. It continues to express based on its influence. And one of the influences that our genes can have is by the food we eat, from what culture we come from, or grow up. So that's what it is. But the other part of the healing process concerns about how to manage this one and how we are going to deal with it, which is called a neuroplasticity, the ability of our mind to shape into the kind of condition that we want to see happening. Okay, it's not just your healthcare provider, but you yourself will have to condition yourself that you want this, if you want to really do this. Okay, so oil. What is the most common oil that we use?
Canola.
vegetable oil.
Canola.
Vegetable oil. All right, let's talk about that. Vegetable oil and all kinds of different oils from seed oils. But the thing is, all these oils are rooted in cancer. Let's just talk about cancer because it's the most common, right? And there's no cure. The next slide will show us some statistics about what uh, uh, information we need to know about cancer. So as you can see, that 10 million, is that 10 million, 16 million in America. This is just in America. So we don't know about others. If it is high in America, it's probably high in other countries as well, or maybe not. But 18 million deaths from heart disease, that's for last year, and 8 million deaths from cancer. Out of heart diseases, 8 million deaths from cancer. 57% predicted it, increase in cancer rates in the next 20 years, and 13 million annual deaths are expected. This is for cancer, and heart disease. Why are we talking about this? Because these are the organs this and disease conditions that are almost directly affected by the use of cooking oil.
Hmm. Yeah, and
Okay,
these things really are. I mean, it's very scary, and it's
it is. It
imagine in
is.
the next 20 years, this
Okay.
statistics gonna more than double. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
really have
It's very it's
to take
very
care.
fast. But
Yeah.
let's look at the next slide, and the next slide will show us that diet and cancer, the relationship of diet and cancer. 40% of cancer causes are linked to dietary requirements or dietary habits, and overconsumption of oil. There you
Wow.
go. And then we'll see the historical context is that less
Oil consumption.
oil consumption oil consumption in there is in the past generations. They don't have a lot of different kinds of oil. They don't use oil. They don't know what oil is, or they probably do, but they don't. There's not a lot of available oil that they could just easily use. It's only very recent, right? So we will see how that looks.
Yeah, because now
Let's,
there's a lot of choices, right, Dr. Rich? I mean,
yes.
there's you
Olive
used to,
oil,
yeah, you
olive
own
oil, grapeseed oil.
avocado oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different oils now. Corn
And
oil, pea oil, almond oil. So pretty much they're making oils from every
Yeah. From everything.
yes,
from
we are going to talk about different kinds of oils because these oils are fats. They're not necessarily bad. There are nutrients that we can get out of these oils, and one of that. Here's the thing for the oils. When we use oils, there are different kinds of oils. Oils that when you heat it, it's going to impact the kind of smoke point. When you cook your oil, do you remember that when our mom will say, when you cook, before you put your garlic, you make sure uh,
yeah,
sprinkle water or
yes,
salt, and then when
yes,
it goes like that, like smoke,
yeah,
and that's hot enough, then you can start putting it there, right? It's
yes,
too late
yes,
when that happens because then that oil has reached its smoke point, and what that means if when it is already reached its smoke point, that oil, the component of that oil has turned into toxin.
Oh my gosh.
It
yes. I
reached
know
done,
that's scary.
Still do that though.
toxic. So,
Uh
but we
huh.
didn't know that, right? So we just said, test it if it's hot enough, and then put the garlic now, like that.
Yeah, I
So
just
it's
do.
too late. The oil component has turned into toxin, and you can't remove that already from the food. So it should be below before it reaches its smoke point. You can do that. But if the oil, the kind of oil we have, has very low smoke point, then you just put it there and it already smoked, then that means it already turned into toxins. You can't even start cooking your food yet, much less eating it. The toxin is already there. And it's not like I eat this, okay, then tomorrow I get cancer. It's not going to be like that. It will take years and years. And they will say, what causes this cancer? What
Yeah,
am I? Oh, did the gods play their fate on me? But it's been years of using those oil, right? And that's why the cancer continues to increase because of that awareness. The other one is okay, so my smoke point, for example, I have a coconut oil and I use coconut oil and it has a very high smoke point, which is about 450 to 500. So before it reaches that amount, I've already cooked my food. So I shouldn't be, right? I should, good, good. But it's not good because your coconut oil has no omega 6 and omega 3, right? There's no comparison between it's just saturated fats. When you say it's saturated fats, it's harmful to your body. It provides inflammatory and it causes cholesterol also, buildup of
yes,
cholesterol.
yes.
It's a good in terms of making sure that you can cook your food, but that's about it, right? And then the other part is okay. So what about omega 3 and omega 6? And there are different kinds of omega, like omega 9, omega 12, omega blah blah. It's omega 3 and omega 6 that needs to be matched, which means that in our food, in the availability of the oil, it's only found in oil, omega 3 and omega 6. Omega 6 is in the plant oil, and omega 3 is also in the plant oil, but also in fish oils, right? There is omega-3 in that as well. But it should be 1:1. That should be the ratio, because your omega-6 is causing you inflammatory, rheumatoid arthritis, all those kinds of things. And then you have the omega-3 also is your anti-inflammatory, so they should be balanced, right? What happens is a lot of our oil today has some omega-3, usually one, the ratio is one, but the omega-6 content is way too high, like 15 to 30 and above. So that's why do I have this rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory, having headache, having this, having that? Well, the omega-6 in your body is too high. Where did I get that omega-6? From the oil, the kind of oil that you use. So we need to know what kind of oil that has a lot of omega-6 and what kind of oil has a lot of has less omega-6. Omega-3 is is available in minimum amount, usually one. Okay, but we want 1:1. So right now we're talking about avocado. Is that what you mentioned, MJ? Avocado oil?
Yes, avocado oil. That's right.
Yes, our avocado oil is, I think it has omega ratio of 7:1, which is 7 omega-6 and 1 omega-3. Okay, so it's still very high. So that means it still causes inflammatory diseases and inflammatory conditions in our body. Now, other than that, the other oils that we may not have to mention, they're higher. They're higher than 7. 7 is already high, but the other oils are much, much higher, including your, what do you call this? Including your oil that has sunflower oil. That sunflower oil is very fancy, right? It has 696 omega-6 to 1 omega-3. Very, very high. And immediately you can feel it in your body when you ingest that with sunflower oil. Immediately say, oh, my thing is, because it causes inflammation. Because omega-6 is causing inflammation when taken in large quantities. So you want omega-6 lower, because right now it's very high. You can go to the store and find those kinds of oils. They are rich in omega-6 contents. Okay. Now we have lower.
Yeah, that's very, yeah.
It's interesting. And to add insult to injury, I also has arthritic spine. I actually already had surgeries in my spine, but I didn't know about omega-6 and omega-3 and all that, the importance. How do I know for the oil that you mentioned? How do I know the how much omega-6 and omega-3? Is it in the nutrition fact?
That should be in the nutrition pack, but then you can also, I think I have a chart. We will share that a little later. What do you have there, Grisha? Our next slide.
Oh,
Walnuts. So you have ratios. You have walnuts 5:1.
So the lesser
But
the
ideal should
ratio,
be,
yeah. So the lesser the ratio,
It's 1 to 1.
it should be
better.
1:1. It's difficult to find an oil that has a ratio of 1:1, except macadamia oil. Macadamia oil is so 1:1, meaning that the omega-6 is also 1, but it's an unstable 1, meaning that it could go up and high, low, up and high, up and high. So it's an unstable 1 omega-6, but it's the closest, the macadamia oil. It's in the specialty oil, right? It's not very common. Let's talk about the most common one, canola oil, right? You familiar with canola oil?
Yes, I mean, because I thought for the longest time that canola oil actually is healthier, right? But
Canola oil, okay. Canola oil has 6 omega-6 and 1 omega-3. Good, right? Good. Because we talk about the avocado has 7, so they're about the same. The thing about canola oil is coming from the rapeseed oil. So rapeseed, it used to be rapeseed oil, and it changed into canola oil. Rapeseed, they're vegetables, right? They're plants. The rapeseed is very high in erucic acid. So they re-engineered it, genetically modified it so that the omega-6 will go low. Now it's now low, and the erucic acid is also low. And the erucic acid is low, omega 6 is low at 6 or 5, I believe 6. Uh, but then the the genetic modification is what we ingest. Okay, it would have been good. Canola oil would have been good. But if we're trying to avoid high omega 6, we might as well avoid genetically modified, because that's worse than omega 6, right? Omega 6 causes inflammation, right, which can graduate into cancer. But genetic modification of oil and food will immediately directly give you cancer. No filter, right? So that's what's the problem is. The other problem is that erucic acid is very high. Now, erucic acid is available in a lot of oils, but it is most common in canola oil. What is erucic acid? Erucic acid is one that is causing a lot of diseases, including cancer. And it's available in the erucic acid in the canola oil, which used to be rapeseed, then now the canola oil. What that works is that in that content, you extract the oil from the source, right? Mostly it's the plant that's the source, coconut, seeds, nuts, all of that. Then you put that, but when you extract, you put hexane into it. So hexane is our solvent, and then the oil content is the solute. The hexane will dissolve the oil content in the seed or in the source, and then now they're together. They are now a solution. Solvent and solute, they're now a solution. So you take it out, including the oil and the chemical in it. The hexane is a chemical, and then it's a toxic chemical. It's a cancer-causing chemical. Now, we remove the hexane from it. That's why it's refined. We remove the hexane. When we remove the hexane from it by process of distillation, because hexane has lower boiling point, then it boils first and evaporates, right? But how much of that is really evaporating and took off from the oil? You can't measure it, right? So you have now the pure oil with the hexane in it. But how much hexane does your body can tolerate? We don't know, right?
We
So,
don't know. I think that's
right.
that's really interesting, Dr. Rich, knowing about the different levels of omega 6 and omega 1 omega 3s in
Three.
these oils. And I think we're gonna go on a short break before we actually move on to the last segment of the show. It's getting really interesting learning about these oils, but
We'll,
we will be back.
we'll be
All
right back.
right. Okay.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Pink Table Talk by Dr. Carly D. Tune in and let's think pink on Wednesday. Come join as we are creating community through conversation. This is our voice. We're diving deep into powerful conversations that inspire, uplift, and empower. Season 2 of Pink Table Talk with Dr. Carly D. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. See you there.
We're back.
Okay,
Can
there
you
you
still
go.
hear me? So Yes, we will be talking a lot about this in our succeeding episode, but we will conclude from here, MJ, about different kinds of oils because there's so many different kinds of oil. But we'll go back to the bottom line, which is there's no oil that is safe or good. Okay, it's just it's difficult for us as Asians to cook without oil. So we're gonna cook some oil. But when we cook some oil and find those oils, you first of all you look for oil that has a very high or high enough uh, smoke point. So you can cook before it smokes. Cook before it smokes, not after. When it's after, you've already destroyed the chemical component of your oil and it has already turned into toxins. And the more you do that, the other one I would like to make mention as far as using oil is concerned is don't reuse your oil. Okay, don't ever use your oil. Don't use it again. Just after you use it, you're using for frying. Fry, finish, just remove the oil. Don't use it again. Use it again. The smoke point becomes lower, but the toxins that was before stays there, and then it adds. It doubles by 10 times toxins in the oil if you use it, if you recycle it. Remember, our mother will always say, "Keep it, because next time you will fry your
Yes,
salted fish again. You know those dried fish which taste really fishy, and then when you use it again with the same
no,
oil, the
no, Doctor.
toxin is double."
Yeah, Dr. Rich, I think what we do, if it's fish, we don't reuse it. But if it's like chicken or other meat, we reuse it and then we use so we can cook more fish. No, just kidding. But yeah, it's true. That's what Carmi and I have been I have been talking about the how
That's good.
informative our
Yeah,
episode tonight because
very interesting.
there may be just simple oil, but people are learning from it. Like we have a
Yeah,
comment from May de Vera. She says, "If I don't reuse it, my parents will get mad for being impractical."
right. So we're trying to be practical, but we're bargaining for our toxins. The
Now,
toxins in that
yes,
oil content as 10 times. The second time you use it, the third time you use it, the fourth time. Now you're going to ask me, what about Jollibee? What kind of oil are they using? And they're using it for probably a week for frying all those chicken joy, right? And what's going on there? They put malondialdehyde, which is a chemical that makes it not bubble. It will not bubble. It will just stay as is. And when you fry the chicken, no matter how long you fry it, it stays golden. Okay,
mhm,
you try doing that at home. You use your oil without malondialdehyde. That's a chemical that they add into the oil. It will keep you when you go that and you fry your fried chicken, your chicken at home. It goes dark. It burns charcoal, right?
mhm,
Do you have that in Jollibee? No, it's always going to be brown, brown,
mhm,
brown, 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 brown. No matter not 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's already there. But the toxin is double. So we really don't understand when we say the chicken in Jollibee that's not healthy. Well, it's healthy because it's chicken. We're really right, but we want to understand why are we right that it's not healthy. The oil has been reused for 1 week, 2 weeks. The toxins are tripled multiple times, and then we get all the benefits of it, right? The effects of the reusing of that. When you do that at home and you fry your chicken will not stay golden. It will be charcoal because you don't have the malondialdehyde. Malondialdehyde is the chemical that is ingested. The other one is when you cook at home, when you reuse it, it has toxin, but it smells, right? It turns rancid. Why it's not smelly in fast food? It is because of the terbutaline that is put in it. Terbutaline is a chemical that is added there so that it will not turn rancid. You can put French fry. You can put maybe fish fillet there. You can chicken, beef patties, and all that. And the smell is the same because you have that. What is terbutaline? That is the chemical that you put in your lighter fluid when you smoke, right? You have a lighter fluid. That's the one that you put in there, and then you don't. Oh, we don't ingest it. I don't know if you don't ingest it, but you certainly eat it.
wow.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
so that
goodness.
is
So
good.
now, Dr. Rich, Our viewers are definitely gonna be grateful to you tonight because you have shared something that is very practical and that is actually very easy to apply in our
Yeah.
daily lives. Although it's hard when it's become a habit for people to reuse oil and just cook any kind of oil or wait till the oil is really hot before they drop the food that or the food that they're frying. It may be hard to change that habit, but if we are thinking about our health, and I mean if we are prioritizing our health, then we definitely can make that change.
It's
And
better not to use oil. As I said, it's difficult, right? But it's really better not to use. If you can avoid using oil, then do it. Now, like we're talking about avocado oil, but we're also talking about olive oil, which is one of the most healthy.
healthy.
But you don't use that because that's not a cooking oil. If you use that in cooking oil, the smoke point is very low. It immediately goes out, and then you destroy the nutrients that's available in that, which is the balance of omega 6 and omega 3. Use it as dressing for your salad. After you cook, that's when you put the oil. If you really want the benefit of the omega 6 and omega 3, but otherwise, don't use it as a cooking oil because you're damaging yourself.
Mhm. Wow. What can you say, Nurse Carmi? From I know you're our special guest tonight. So what
No,
have you learned
Yes.
from tonight's episode?
I'm very thankful for this session, I guess, because it's an eye opener. Like,
Yes.
I was really paying attention to what you said. Being a nurse for so many years, I didn't even know this topic that we just discussed just now. I just thank you so much. It's very helpful.
Yeah, and thank you to Nurse Carmi for sharing your experience
Yes.
to all our viewers out there, not just nurses, but every single one of you. Listen to your bodies. You know, it's only you who can tell when something is wrong. And sometimes we tend to neglect and we tend to ignore those signs that our body is actually like telling us that something is wrong. So that is a lesson that we have learned from our guest tonight. At the same time, let's be mindful about the oils that we use, or better yet, as Dr. Rich had said, not to use oil for cooking.
I think there are pots and pans for sale now
Yes,
where
that
you
you
can
don't
cook
need to
without.
use
Yeah,
without oil.
I haven't tried it. I don't know.
Yes, yes, it's better that way because oil really is not good for us. We produce our own oil in our body. It's very natural, the one that we're using. We don't need any more. But if we could, because of our culture and the way we cook things, that's why there's oils, and the market takes advantage of that, providing the grocery stores with huge amounts of different kinds of oil, and we think it's very fancy. Have the safflower oil, sunflower oil. Well, no, that's a very high omega 6. It's very inflammatory. So but we'll try to avoid as much as we can.
Wow, wow. Dr. Rich, you are really rich in knowledge and
I'm
thank you.
overwhelmed with
Yes.
information.
But you know that is something that, as again I said, that is something that we can apply easily in our lives.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
is maybe a little bit of information, but that has a huge impact when we actually follow this tip.
Yeah, yeah. We will
Yes,
talk about that some more, and we'll talk about how these oils came to be and what alternatives that we have. In fact, even about fats, butter, margarine, for
yes,
example,
margarine.
manufactured oils and different kinds of things, and how that impacts our body, especially cancer. Because I have close friends, out of 15 very close friends growing up, 9 of them has passed due to cancer
My
very
mother.
recently, like within 2 3 years.
Yes. So that's whoa. I love this show, Dr.
Yeah.
Rich, because we are actually really helping our viewers become more conscious about their health. And that's our goal, to really keep everybody on their toes when it comes to taking care of themselves, right? So that's why we're blessed to have this show that we've been like our sixth episode, right? It's our sixth episode.
This
So
is
we're
fifth or
fifth
sixth.
episode, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have more to come, and
We will talk some more about this for our next episode. So stay with us, our viewers, for our next episode is on Fridays,
mhm.
8 o'clock in Houston and 9 o'clock in the morning in the Philippines. Stay with us. This is Dr. Rich, and with me is Nurse MJ and Nurse Carmen.
Having me.
And thank you, Miss Carmi, Nurse Carmi, for being our guest tonight. And again, to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching us, for listening. We are here for you, and that's what our goal is, to help you live your lives in a healthier and better way. So good night, everyone, and good night,
Bye
Doctor.
bye.
Bye
Bye
and
bye.
God
See you
bless.
next time.
See ya.
Bye.